Hello everybody to cleaning up a drawing. I thought I'd take one of my drawings we did in our storyboards and show you how I clean it up digitally. Now I've imported a photo of it into Procreate, which is an app on the iPad, and then on the layer that it's imported here I've adjusted the opacity so I can trace over it. And here I'm picking up a sketch pencil out of all the brushes they have. It's a great little program. It's very inexpensive. Create a new layer here to go on top of it. It's like putting a piece of paper over to trace and just start redoing my drawing. Very sketchy, very loose, fixing a few things I didn't quite fix before. Notice the size of the screen is wider than what I drew it. This is the actual proportions of a TV screen, which is 1980 by, let's see, 1080 by 1920 pixels. So very quickly, just re-roughing out my drawing. I'm doing some improvements, fixing his posture, maybe putting a few more details here and there, and generally, every time I redo a drawing, I want to make it just a little bit better. And I've got a little more room on the side over here, so I've got some space to play with. But putting in some backgrounds, or where I didn't put trees before, I'm making sure of course, they don't overlap the fishing pole. I don't want it to be, I want everything to have its own space and very clear. But I've got some more room over on the edge even, and I can see I get that the fishing line and the float even farther away. Now I've totally hidden the background layer, the original photo of the sketch I drew in pen. And now I'm tying down my rough lines a little bit more, go through real quickly, making sure everything is where I want it. That horizon line is getting a little complicated. Just one smooth horizon line for the rear bank on the river or the lake, wherever he's fishing. Just simplifying those shapes. Now I'm adjusting the opacity on that level even, so I can trace over that, because I'm going to clean this up with a nice smooth line. I'm going to get an inking brush. It's a little bit of a rough inking brush. I'm checking the thickness of my line. Oh, I'm on the same level. Forgot I got to create a new layer here. So let's adjust the opacity of the rough layer again, and then bing, get a new layer on top of that. Now there's my inking pen. I can adjust the width and the color here. There, that's the color I want for all the back lines. And what I'm going to do here, when I start drawing the trees and things that are in the background, I'm doing them in a gray tone. So that way the bear, when he's drawn in black line, will stand out a little bit more. I want him to pop out from his background. So I'm drawing just a row of pine trees, not a lot of detail, just the outline of the tips of the top of them. And notice they're different sizes. I make sure that it's very random. Some are tall, some are small, and I want it to be kind of interesting to look at, but not draw your attention away from the bear. So that's why it's not very detailed. It's just suggested. And next, I'm going to draw this riverbank he's sitting on, and just hint at the texture of the grass. See, every so often, just do some little breaks here and add some texture here and there that show where the grass is growing, so I don't have to draw the grass all over it. And here's the bank itself. Just draw some little ridges where that mud and dirt fall down. And again, not a lot of detail, just enough to show some texture, and a few little ripples in the water to let the audience who's looking at it know it's wet. It's got little ringlets. Now I'm going to start with the bear, so I've switched to a black line, and let's zoom into his head, because it's going to be some detail, so I want to make sure I know what I'm doing. Oh, the line's a little thick. I can adjust that, get a little narrower. There we go. Get his ear where I want it. And I've noticed I've drawn some ears in different positions, but I want them both kind of behind, facing back, so they don't intersect with his eyebrows and interrupt them. And get his little cheek fur back there. Now for his eyes, if you remember, I talked about I just changed my mind and wanted him to be kind of bored while he was fishing, so there's a bigger change when he, something tugs on his line. He gets all excited. A little whisker dots there. Ah, that line's, yeah, undo is your friend. That's a smoother line. Now I can use the fill tool and boop, get his nose fixed. And yeah, he's got a bored expression. On down his back. Notice I put little bitty marks, little tufts of hair, just every so often to suggest the idea he's furry all over. I don't have to draw hair everywhere. Just every so often, like wherever there's a bend, like on his shoulder, on his elbow, on his knee, that's where I tend to put just a little wisp to show some fur. Make sure those little fur lines are all different sizes. There. Yeah, not doing even a lot of detail on his little toe claws, just enough to suggest it. Now here, that doesn't look right, does it? His hands should be one on top of the other, not beside each other like that. That doesn't look like he's holding a fishing pole. Let's start that over. Yeah. Get rid of that. Raise his thumb up. That's not quite right. There we go. No. There. That's a thumb. Yeah. Now get his hand going behind where his pole is. And just have that finger wrap around it. And 2 and 3 fingers. There. His other leg back here. I love being able to zoom in on the drawing while you're working on it, and when I'm working digitally I can get a lot of details that way. Yeah, smooth that line out. Little fluffy tail. Now see, you can see how he pops out so well against that background because his lines are black and the background lines are gray, because that's what I want you to look at, so he's got to be the most important. Now, I'm not doing a perfectly smooth line here for the fishing pole because it's going to be made out of bamboo. So I'm doing this slight little scallop curvy shapes, and I can put the little ribs in there where every section of the bamboo grows like that. He's very low tech, so he's got just a bamboo pole, nothing fancy. And yeah, up, wait a second here. Just a background line. I think I want to do that in gray. Let's undo. Let's use our color picker. Where is it? There we go. Get a gray line back there. Yeah. And notice I'm breaking it where his fishing line's going through it, so it doesn't even intersect, just to help it stand out a little more. Get my water lines in there, so you know that that's just a few little lines, and you know it's water. Let's see. Oh, I've got a big black again here. There we go. And drawing the little float, the bobber. And a little reflection there. And now you can draw straight lines really easily in Procreate. If you just draw a line and hold your stylus down, it straightens it out for you. So there we go. We have got, and hide my other background, other layer. Yeah, we have got a final drawing. Now this would be clean enough to go to print.